Voucher. That's all it is.
So we can have some fun with that one. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Talk about the Back to Blue rallies going on, and have a good time. So you got about a half hour?
I'm all yours, bro.
Hey, fantastic. We got another guest coming on at the bottom of the hour, so that'll be perfect to get you for the first half and him the second half, and we'll be ready to rock and roll, man.
Love the opportunity, brother. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, it's all good. Very good. Let me, the music's about ready to start. Let me pot this guy up here, and hang tight. We'll be in just a few minutes here.
And I can see your picture. I can't see actually you. I don't know if it normally pops up. I can see your picture right now. Is your camera on, or do you keep it off?
I got my camera on, but I think it's being used by the system there for the OBS, and I think it only said that I could have one video source, which I don't know why.
Totally cool. Just want to make sure.
Yep. Very good. Hang tight here.
Thanks, Brad.
2 minutes till broadcast. Till broadcast. Seconds till broadcast. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Fighting for freedom every day.
Let me tell you, the response to the show has been absolutely amazing. People can't believe that a young conservative millennial continues to fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and talks about issues that some are even afraid to talk about. But we do it because we understand the importance of this. And now we're seeing it absolutely blow up all across the nation.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
It is the Voice of Reason. Hey, welcome into it. It is a Thursday, the pre-Friday celebration, making you excited for the end of the week. It's almost here. You can almost taste it, the pre-Friday celebration, which is what we love each and every day. Although I am frustrated, day number 3 of the live stream not working on Facebook, and I don't know why. We've tried to reset it. I may have to try and reset a secondary time, but we are live streaming on the other sites. Welcome in as we are broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation on the flagship radio station of the Big Talker KQAM in Wichita, Kansas, on radio, TV, live streaming all over the place on not Facebook Live, but we are on YouTube Live, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn. Also, it's up and running on the website at HooserReason.com. Thanks for hanging out with us no matter where you may be. It is going to be one heck of a show today. The final night of the Republican National Convention. Can Donald Trump pull it off? Donald Trump, what do you think? Are we going to be able to pull this guy off? I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. What do you think?
You are fake news.
Okay, I guess we're going to do it. What do you think, Joe Biden?
Come on, man.
Okay, all right. It's going to be fun. So they ran the story the very first night of the Republican convention, if you remember, where Joe Biden beat Donald Trump in the ratings with the kickoff of the conventions between the two, right? They loved it. They loved it, the fact that the Democrat National Convention won the ratings for the first night by like 4 or 5 million viewers. Well, Donald Trump wasn't even anticipated to speak. He chose to do that the last minute, and now tonight is his big grand speech. We'll see how well that works out tonight. And I think with how the Republicans have been playing their cards, which I'm excited to talk about from the psychological standpoint, from the mental side of this, with our next guest. As, by the way, at the bottom of the hour, we have a great guest as well, Mark Walters, Armed American Radio. He's going to be joining us and talking about some of the events that are going on in Wisconsin, which I want to talk about with our next guest here as well. But to talk about the way the Republicans have actually been playing this convention, talking about success stories, talking about minorities being able to come up, doing the naturalization process live at the convention with President Trump and a few people from around the world, the way that we've played our cards here was probably the best that we could have possibly have done, at least in my opinion. I think that while the Democrats did nothing but absolute hatred, they played one emotion last week. That was hate. The flaming red hatred that they had for Donald Trump and Republicans. And if you don't like that, then vote for us, because we're going to change everything that he's done over the last 4 years. And everything Republicans have done over the last 4 years. They wanted that. This year, the Republicans this week remind me of like what Ronald Reagan did in 1984 with his reelection of a positive campaign, but have cranked it up even more so than that and taken it to the next level. So let's bring in our guest and get his thoughts on this. If you're watching the live streaming, I highly recommend it, as we do have the Skype video going today, and we appreciate him jumping on video and chatting with us. It's the author of The Emotional Marine, 68 Mental Toughness and Emotional Intelligence Secrets to Make Anyone Instantly Like You. You can also find him online at mentaltoughnessspeaker.com. He's a great friend of the program. We love having him on, and it's been too long since we've had him on here, but Mr. Eric Rittmeyer hanging out with us here. Eric, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Andy, my man, last time I talked to you, you were a little under the weather. You were drinking some vodka. Remember I recommended vodka? I don't know if that worked out for you.
That's right. Yes, the vodka works great. It's weird. I have the lingering wannabe sneeze in the back right now, and that's been going on. So I think the whiskey and the vodka will kick that one, and we'll be muy bueno. So it'll be good
nice.
times.
Put some hair on your chest, too.
That's right. That's the way we roll. But no, it's good to have you back on the program. It has been a little bit. There's some crazy times. We have the shooting in Wisconsin. We have the protests right now. We have the cop incident in Wisconsin and Kenosha. We have the Republican National Convention. People right now, I think, are fatigued by hearing so much political overload when we're not really used to hearing it. Is that a good assumption of what's going on right now?
Yeah, it is overload, Andy, and our nation is just so highly intoxicated in emotion right now. I mean, we are hypersensitive to everything, and there's a ton of craziness happening. Last time I was on, we talked about this. There's a ton going on at one time here, and unfortunately what's happening is it just the level of hate. You know, we're in the middle of two pandemics right now. We know about COVID, but there's also a hate pandemic, and it's ripping through this country, man. We are just at a point where everybody, it's like if you sneeze, you're going to catch hate. It's dangerous. And unfortunately, our political environment, these conventions, it's just not helping anything. It's adding fuel to the fire. It's scary.
It is really scary. Let's first off start off with the shooting that happened in Kenosha. We had the video. Now, again, I made the comment the first night that it happened. When are we finally going to realize that we cannot make assumptions based on a 15 to 20 second video that we see floating around social media? You would think after so many protests, after so many videos, after everything that's happened, and then we hear later on that, oh, well, they had drug charges, they had criminal charges, they were fighting police, there was something, obviously, a longer story, too, than just a 15 to 20 second video that floats around social media. Apparently, we haven't learned that lesson yet, because now we see riots going on all over the place again.
It's insane. I mean, we've gotten to a point now in our nation where we're allowing our subjective perceptions to override objective observation, meaning that we're hearing and seeing and feeling things with our heart and disregarding what our eyes are showing us. It's a scary time we live in, but we're at the point where we automatically just look at any situation, and the way we respond to it has everything to do with race, occupation, and political motivation. So the anger that gets directed towards something is tied to those three things. And the problem is, we're just automatically assuming worst case situations for every single thing. Nobody wants to see a police shooting.
Right.
Nobody wants to see somebody getting shot, but we also don't want to see people resisting arrest and not following lawful orders. We're at the point now, I don't know if you've seen the video where the guy who was getting ready, the police came down on the guy in the street. I forget what state it was in. I think they were chasing after him from some kind of armed robbery or something, and he pulled out a gun and committed suicide. They have video of this.
Yeah.
There's people now in that city rioting because this guy committed suicide. It's like, are we at that point where we're that deluded? What are we fighting for? I mean, what are we trying to prove here by burning buildings down?
It doesn't make any sense. And I think, we always go to, is it an organized protest sort of thing? These happen so quickly. It could have been an organized protest up there where it turned violent. I think that it was just the reactionary response that many were preparing for, ready for at any moment's notice in the local community. But again, if that is the case, why burn down your own community and think that that's going to change something in any way, shape, or form? And the response to it, I've been very upset about. I mean, now the governor is sending in the National Guard. Obviously, it's not working, though. We had, and we'll talk about it in a second, with the kid that ended up shooting 3 individuals, killing 2 of them. Why are citizens having to take up arms and do this responsibility, I guess, if you want to call it that, as opposed to law enforcement and National Guard that say you can protest, but as soon as you start looting, rioting, burning something, destroying something, that is unacceptable. We will do any means necessary to stop you from doing that, whether it's shooting beanbags, whether it's doing tear gas, whether it's rounding you up and arresting you, or whether we have to shoot in the crowd in order to stop this. It's not going to be tolerated. When are we going to get to that point?
Well, it starts at the top, Andy, and what we have is we have political leadership who is not condemning. Go back to the DNC and look at this. Okay, how many people went on stage, went on national television and condemned what was happening as far as the rioting, the looting, the burning, the killing, the violence? Not a single person did. Joe Biden literally just came out like days ago saying he condemned it. He had all this time to say this is wrong, this is bad. So media plays a big part in this as well. The media and our political leadership as well, they are so good at just instilling this mass hate, mass confusion. So we don't know what's going on. They know with confusion comes chaos.
Yeah.
If they can prevent clarity, they can prevent unity. So the more confusion they can cause by posting things and hyper analyzing the 5% or whatever it is, that's crazy. These riots, these protests. Okay, there are people out there that truly do want change. I want change.
Right.
Okay, but you have this small percentile that goes back crazy. That's what gets all the attention. That's where the problem comes.
It really is. No, you're right. I heard a rumor, and I don't know if this is true or not. Maybe you've heard this, or maybe you believe it as well. But the conspiracy, I guess, if I put on my tinfoil hat for a second, is that Joe Biden's going to make a statement saying that he's going to urge the protesters to stop being violent, and all of a sudden they stop being violent. That the organized protests actually stop, that we actually calm down, and that he's able to control the chaos in the streets in order for political gain by showing that he has control over the left that wants to do this, and that he's this strong leader and Donald Trump can't contain what's going on. Do you think that's going on, or do you think that's even a play the Democrats will try?
They're delusional. And here's the problem. I mean, you just have Joe Biden now saying that he believes President Trump wants chaos and wants crime and wants rioting. It's insane. I mean, unfortunately, if you're not thinking logically, there's no way you can have any solutions here. He talks about doing all these things. It's very easy to play Monday morning quarterback. I don't care who's in the office as far as the deaths are concerned with COVID. Is there a way we could have reduced deaths? Is there something else we could have done? Probably. Is there something else he might not have done that would have meant there were more deaths? If we'd have listened to Joe Biden, he would have allowed travel to come in from China. What did he do back in January when Trump shut down travel from China? He called him a xenophobe.
Right.
So if we'd have listened to Trump, if we'd have listened to Biden, how many more people would have come into this country from China? How many more people would have been infected? How many more would have died? So to say, I would have done this, I would have done that, it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback until you're sitting in that chair making decisions. Bottom line, President Trump has made major decisions that have saved lives. I don't care what you say.
Talking about decision-making, why is it that today we hear a press conference go on about the Democrats making a statement about the shooting and about the riots up there, and it's not Joe Biden who's running for president, but it's his vice presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, that makes the statement? Are we seeing who's really going to wear the pants in this relationship right now, or is it just because Joe Biden can't actually string 2 words together without stumbling all over himself and saying something stupid?
That is the scariest thing, Andy, is we're at a point right now where we can produce every single fact that there is. It'll be totally disregarded. Why? Because we hate Trump. People hate Trump. So it doesn't matter what fact we produce. We hate Trump. Let's be very realistic here. And I don't say this to be mean. I think Joe Biden's a wonderful person. He's a great guy, whatever.
Sure.
He has mental issues. I don't say that to be mean. Anybody who looks at him can very obviously see his mental decline and what's happened. Let's be very realistic here. If he was to be elected, he would not survive through the first term, whether it be because of a mental incapacity or some other major health issue. Whoever the VP is, in this case, Kamala Harris, that's who would end up being the president of this country. They're even saying it inadvertently. Yeah. He's even saying it. She's ready to take over on day one. What's he trying to say there?
Yeah. Well, and the fact that she's making the press conferences, making these statements on big issues rather than him really shows where their message is. That you're right. They're ready for her to take the charge on all these things. We're talking with Eric Rittmeyer, mentaltoughnesspeaker.com, mentaltoughnesspeaker.com, also the book, The Emotional Marine. You've been supporting and working with the Back the Blue rallies going on all over the country. How are those working right now and actually coming up in the next day or so? They're coming up to Kansas City, aren't they?
On Saturday, we'll be there. Yeah, it's We Back Blue, and it's an amazing, amazing movement, Andy. We are just seeing tons of turnout. Our whole philosophy, everything we stand for, is supporting law enforcement. We love police officers. We love law enforcement. Our country loves law enforcement. The problem is they're just being thrown under the bus right now. And it's basically we're assigning this collective punishment for isolated guilt is what I call it, meaning that we see a police officer like the George Floyd situation, which is a horrible situation. That police officer is obviously very, very wrong. But now we're assigning guilt to every single police officer. These are men and women that are risking their lives, that have families. They need support. The problem is the people who support police are afraid to speak up out of fear of retribution. Yeah. So what's ended up happening is I'm like, we had enough of this. So for the last 2 months now, we just been going city to city. We support you. We love you. The voices are out there. We get done with these events. We get tons of emails, tons of phone calls from people saying, we love police. We wish we could do more, but we're afraid to speak up. Thank you for being our voice.
Wow. It's sad that we're so scared to support something so basic. I mean, now they say that on the other side, Black Lives Matter, which again, all lives matter. People with black skin obviously matter. We're not contesting that in any way, shape, or form. But when they say, people are afraid to the movement, I am afraid to say we support a lot of movements because something like that is a political movement. But the We Back the Blue, that's not a political statement. That's just saying you're scared to go to work. You could get shot and not come home every night, and you choose to do it. The other side doesn't have a choice, unfortunately, and we need to address that when we come back from the break for a second, but they choose to go into harm's way every single day, and that's something that we need to actually parade around. So I'm glad people are supporting it. It's sad that they're scared to do so in many cases, though. We got to take a break. Eric Rittmeyer, you can visit mentaltoughnesspeaker.com. When we come back, I want to talk about the movement, the rally, where they're going to be, plus the issue that we talked about yesterday and some of the memes that were going around social media, get his thoughts on that when it comes to the law enforcement, cops, and individuals that confront cops. All that and more coming up. Stay here.
With Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at Hoosier Reason. With the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use.
You can subscribe to any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com.
For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Man, the show goes by way too fast. Welcome into it, 24 minutes past the hour. Thanks for hanging out, no matter where you may be. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, podbeaning, doesn't matter. Appreciate you hanging out with us each and every day. Our numbers have been going up. We got a lot of response from yesterday's show, which is cool. We'll talk about that in just a second. For now, we got a few minutes left with the man himself, Mr. Eric Rittmeyer, the emotional Marine. 68 mental toughness and emotional intelligence secrets to make anyone instantly like you. You can visit him online, mentaltoughnessspeaker.com, and talking about some of the rallies going on around the nation, supporting law enforcement. How many cities have you guys gone to so far with these rallies?
The one on Saturday in Kansas City will be our 22nd.
Fantastic.
Just in a couple of months, 22nd one. They've been awesome, man. We're having an amazing time.
I love it. You guys are getting good turnout. You said good response. Everything's going smooth with it. Are you getting a lot of protesters as well?
Yeah, we do, Andy. We get a lot of those. But you know what? Like I say, I speak at pretty much all the events, and I tell everybody, like, we're an apolitical organization. Like, we don't care what you believe in. We don't care what lever you pull. We don't care who you support.
Right.
It means nothing to us. What we ask for is you to come there with one common theme, that is supporting police. We have protesters show up. We've actually had a lot of success with communicating with them, with talking with them, and we've had some craziness. But ultimately, the events are love, kindness. The police officers love it. It's a win-win situation, and they really, police officers really need our support right now.
Well, they really do. They really do. And we have issues, obviously, with some law enforcement when it comes to ones that want to do bad things. And we've seen a few videos, not all of them, obviously, on social media, because all of those, you see the rest of the story and you're like, oh, wow, okay, that makes sense. But there are obviously some that we need to weed out. And we've talked about this before, about the 2%, 1% that are bad apples, that are in bad apples in every industry that you go into, or career or workforce that you go into, that you need to work to get out. I want to ask you a question. This is a meme that got me in a lot of heat yesterday, but I want to talk about it from a sense of the law enforcement aspect to this. And this was floating around, and of course I had to push the, rock the boat and poke the bear a little bit, and boy, did it ever come back and lash out. But here's what it said. Telling black men to respect cops so they don't get killed is like telling women to dress appropriately so they don't get raped. Your thoughts on that?
It's just, I get sick and tired of all these. Everybody tries to draw parallels between things, and what they're looking for is just to try to stir up outrage. It's like, why don't we direct mental energy towards solutions? Are we really looking for solutions to problems, or for problems to solutions? If we're looking to make everybody angry, then let's continue to post these things and do these things. What it all boils down to is we have a problem in this nation that needs to be corrected. There's a hate problem. There's a murder problem. I don't care what anybody else says, what anybody else does. If we continue to focus all of our energy towards trying to club somebody over the head with one word and one syllable and one period at the end of a sentence instead of an exclamation point, it solves no purpose. What are we trying to accomplish here? If we're trying to move forward, why don't we start trying to find solutions? What's happening right now is not working. Yeah. Let's stop trying to club each other with their belief systems and try to find a way to heal.
Well, you're right. I mean, that definitely is a way, because right now, again, it's all the emotion based on hatred, based on fear, based on division, which is what they like and how they thrive on the left side of the aisle. Now, I focused when I responded on the secondary part of it about women dressing appropriately so they don't get raped, and that caused a lot of issue. But the top part of it, telling black men to respect cops so they don't get killed. Look, I may not be a genius here, and obviously it wouldn't solve the issue 110%, obviously, but every video that I've seen of the evil cop harming a black person, and which has caused all the riots and protesting, every single one of those videos that I have seen, it's when the person has been fighting the cops, has been resisting arrest, has been fighting against them, or trying to run away rather than cooperating. Am I missing something here?
You're not. And again, it goes back, Andy, to what we feel in our hearts is overriding what we see with our eyes. If everybody could just agree on one thing and take race totally out of this, if we could just agree on the core issue, all these things begin when somebody doesn't do what they're told, when somebody does not obey the law. Has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with anything other than respecting the law. You now have LeBron James going out there. He's going on record to say kids, black children, have to be worried and scared when they go out that they're going to get killed. It's
ridiculous.
like, why are you, what does that accomplish?
It's ridiculous.
It's like, instead of doing that, why don't we start teaching our kids to be respectful and just go out there and listen and not get in trouble? How about that?
Amen to that, Eric. We're out of time, my friend. We got to get you back on the show again real soon, brother.
Love to see you again, Andy. Thanks for having me.
Always a good time. Eric Rittmeyer on the show here. Back after this. Stay here. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of the Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out
all the
and follow
time.
us on
And
all
as
of
we
our
talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
when reason meets radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Man, the show goes by way too fast. Already halfway through it, but welcome into the program. Thanks for hanging out with us today, no matter where you may be. Radio, TV, live streaming on the website at HooserReason.com. Podcasting after the show, doesn't matter. Appreciate you hanging out with us all over the place. Thanks again to Eric Rittmeyer coming on the program. MentalToughnessSpeaker.com is the website. You can go and check him out and the Back to Blue rallies that he's speaking at and touring with all over the country. Going up to Kansas City, actually, on Saturday, so just a couple days from now if you're in that vicinity. But I'm excited. Our next guest, this has been a crazy show. It's been a crazy week with the Republican National Convention getting absolutely bombasted on social media yesterday with a bunch of haters. We'll talk about that in a second as well. But our next guest is a man that we've had on the program many times before, one of our very first guests on the program, and he's continuation. Jump on his program every once in a while as well. It's the man himself from Armed American Radio. You can find him at armedamericanradio.com, Mr. Mark Walters himself. Mark, what's going on, brother? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Andy. Thanks for having me on, bro. Always fun.
Always good to talk to you. I love it. There's so much to talk about right now between the Republican National Convention, between the shooting with the cop that happened up in Wisconsin, between the protests that have gone there, and now we see this kid, this Kyle Rittenhouse, that have been arrested for the murder of two individuals. Mark, I don't know what to think about all this, man. We see, first off, let's start off here. When are we going to learn not to make judgment off a 20-second video that floats around social media and think all of a sudden evil cop and innocent guy? When are we going to stop doing that?
Well, if we're not Democrats, socialists, communists, Marxists, we've already learned how to not do that.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. You know, I mean, the governor in Wisconsin was just incredible, man. You know, this kid wasn't even in surgery yet. One of the kids, you know, and the governor in Wisconsin is up there. You know, I'm talking about the police shooting, and the governor's up there calling for the cops' heads. You know, and in Kenosha, you look at this video from yesterday. I was talking about on the show yesterday, and if you parachute in at that exact moment that kid's being chased down by a mob and he turns and fires, that's pure self-defense.
Yes.
That's exactly how I would have acted if I were being chased by a mob who were trying to beat me to death with skateboards. And I'm armed. I can promise you I'm going to turn and fire on my attackers. And I'm going to put an end to the attack to save my own life so that I can go home to my family. Now, again, there's other video that preceded that from another location earlier. So we have to not judge by anything until we see all of these things come out. Now, the kid was 17. Very strange set of circumstances up there.
Yes.
17-year-old kid, you know. I saw a couple photos of the kid. He certainly didn't look 17, but he's 17 years old. You know, I don't know what Wisconsin law is relative to long guns. I don't have any idea. So there's a lot happening here that we're going to look into. We'll probably be discussing it on Sunday. But, again, you know, the first video I saw was him being chased through a car lot. And from what I understand, according to a New York Times piece, police officers had approached him and others in the group he was with that were protecting the car dealership and thanked them for being there and helping them because they couldn't be everywhere. Handed the group, you know, bottled water, etc. So we don't know what happened, and we should know by now not to judge anything. But if you're a liberal, socialist, Democrat, Black Lives Matter supporter, it doesn't matter to you. You're going to condemn everything immediately, and then you're going to ignore every other piece of evidence that shows up. Yeah. Because it doesn't fit your narrative and your agenda.
No, you're right. And now the media is going after this kid saying that, well, that this is their perfect way to demonize. Remember, it's just like any other time when there's a shooting at a school or a shooting anywhere else, then they were a Republican, they hoarded guns, they supported Donald Trump. I mean, they try to create all these different narratives. Now, according to the Insider.com, he was an individual that was obsessed with Blue Lives Matter. He seemed on edge before it began to ring out, but he was a wholehearted supporter of law enforcement and went to all these rallies and had the Blue Lives Matter all over his social media. And he was so obsessed with this. Yeah, a terrible thing. So now, that's
a terrible thing.
Yeah. No, here it is. So according to the Insider, on social media, he idolized police, guns, and Blue Lives Matter movement. So therefore, he's the bad guy here because he went out and ended up wanting to find issues. He loved the police. He loved his guns. He loved Blue Lives Matter. So therefore, Mark, anybody that supports those things are probably more on the radical fringe side that want to go out and kill somebody.
That's what the mainstream media does.
Yeah.
If you've witnessed it in action. Now, first off, you know, if this kid is Blue Lives Matter, look, social media is a very dangerous thing. I'm going to advise everybody to get away from it. If you don't have the discipline to only update your family about family things, I would suggest you get off of social media. I've got a family member now who is causing a lot of problems with this constant in-your-face politics and really ticking off a lot of family members, et cetera. It's just not healthy. It's not wise, not in today's day and age.
Why couldn't you told me that a day before? Just a day prior, Mark.
Well, I don't know. I'll keep. Don't ask me to go places I can't go right now.
Okay. All right.
And I can't say things I can't say right now either. So I get myself in a lot of trouble.
That's
but
right.
Here's the deal. A lot of questions about this. This kid might be everything they say he is, and he might not be. But the media is going to portray Blue Lives Matter. Oh, my God, you mean this guy supports police officers? Maybe his father's a cop. Maybe his uncle's a cop. Maybe his grandpa was a cop. Maybe he wants to be a cop. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
When did that become a problem? Well, it's a problem when the media made it a problem. So, again, guns, oh, my God, if he's guns, he's white supremacist. He's a cop lover. He's a white supremacist. This is what the media is doing to this country is absolutely treasonous.
Yeah.
And nobody, unfortunately, will be held accountable. It will not be held accountable. What happens in November is going to let me just put it this way. If the wrong thing happens, I fear for my country. I fear for my kids. I fear for my soon-to-be 16-year-old son and my daughter, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't see light at the end of the tunnel. If the left gains full power, you're witnessing across this country what they will feel emboldened to do to anyone who disagrees with them. And I don't think a lot of people are going to take that laying down.
No, it's going to spread all over the nation. We're going to see these protests, riots, looting, whatever, all over the country, and there's going to be more vigilantes like this standing up and wanting to do what's right. And again, I'm conflicted because you said there's a lot of weird scenarios with this. I mean, it's a 17-year-old kid that lived in a town 15 to 20 miles away across state lines, right on the border there. A 17-year-old walking around with, of course, the media had to point out it was an AR-15. So he comes into town with the AR. I've heard conflicting reports whether he was with the group or whether he was on his own. But let's go under the assumption that he was with this group. He was protecting this car dealership. They came in to the car dealership wanting to loot whatever. He shot one of them, gets separated somehow into the middle of the street. They attack him. He ends up shooting, and now he's the one arrested. The media, like you mentioned, focusing on him being a Blue Lives Matter guy with a gun out there wanting to cause trouble and shoot people, as opposed to, wow, look at all the idiots out there trying to burn an entire car dealership, who, by the way, was a supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right. The criminals get a pass in this weird upside-down world we're living in. They may get a pass from the Democrats. They may get a pass from the media, but they're not going to get a pass from law-abiding citizens whose businesses are being burned. Those people are going to protect their businesses. Now, here's my advice if you're a parent of a 17-year-old kid in Illinois that wants to attend a riot. And let's get real. Let's start calling this what it is. These aren't protests. These are riots. I don't care if they start out peaceful. Every single one of them ends up in a riot.
No.
They are riots. Let's call these people what they are. They are rioters. They are criminals. They are thugs. They're arsonists. And in many cases, more than likely kill. These people are burning down businesses where families live above them.
Right.
We've seen the films of that today. They don't care. These are not nice people, okay? But we need to start calling them what they are. They're not peaceful protests. The Democrats want you to believe it's a peaceful protest. It's not. To them, maybe it's peaceful, because if they're breaking and destroying things that the Democrats don't like, then maybe that's peaceful. Maybe that's their idea of peaceful. I don't know. But here's some advice for your parents. Don't let your 17-year-old kid out of the house with a rifle to go to a riot.
You would think that would be a common sense thing. No, again, we don't know the circumstance here, but the fact that a 17-year-old kid got in his vehicle with intent with a firearm and drove 20 minutes to the next state in order to go to this place means that there was intent to do something. And that's why I'm really sketchy on how this whole thing ended up playing down. We got about 2 minutes before a break, but I asked prior to.
All right. Well, okay. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. All right. I have to go here. It's too much fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I can't imagine having this conversation with my wife and my kids. Hey, Reese, do you mind watching the kids tonight? I'm going to strap up and go to a riot. Or to my son, hey, bud, you're 17 on September 1st. Hopefully you'll strap up and go to the next riot.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't see how this happens.
You're
don't see
almost
how
an
this happens,
adult.
Andy. I don't.
Yeah, you're almost an adult. You know, it's time for you to start taking some responsibilities. Son, here's the AR-15. Go to a rally and see what you can do with that.
Come on, man.
Yeah, take one of my ARs and go to the riot and see what happens. Go protect that car dealership. Don't do these things. What are you doing there in the first place? Now, the next question begged is I don't believe Illinois allows a 17-year-old to own an AR-15. I don't believe that's the case in Illinois. Now, I may be wrong, but at the minimum for a rifle is 18, not 17 in the state of Illinois, I would imagine. But again, I may be wrong. A lot of weird things going on with that.
There is. And as we talk about gun ownership and everybody's, of course, going after him for having the firearms, wanting to go cause issues. The one thing that you promote more than anything, that we all promote more than anything, is responsible gun ownership. And to me, Mark, we got about 30 seconds. Right. To me, this doesn't seem like a responsible gun ownership situation to be in. It could have been avoided the entire time if he wasn't there in the first place.
Well, absolutely. The best way to win a gunfight is to never be there in the first place, okay? Is to not have a gunfight, is to avoid it. Don't inject yourself. We teach this for years. Never inject yourself into a situation that can escalate into gunfire. You want to de-escalate situations, not escalate them. The kid had no business being there. No. I'm sorry. He's a minor. He had no business being there, period.
Yeah, period. That's right. We got to take a break. Mark Walters, Armed American Radio. You can visit him at armedamericanradio.com. When we come back, we're going to ask Mark about the meme on social media because it's still bugging the heck out of me. Plus, I want to get his thoughts on the RNC and how we've done so far with the final night, the speech from Donald Trump. Is he going to rock this country with his speech tonight? We'll talk about all that and more coming up here on The Voice of Reason on a pre-Friday celebration. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. And I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn,
Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the program today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite podcasting sites and have the show automatically downloaded to your phone or computer every single day. Just find us on any podcasting site or go to HooserReason.podbean.com. And be sure to check out our Patreon site, become the ultimate Hooserholic, and help us fight for conservative values every day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Now back to the national broadcast of the Voice of Reason.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, buddy, yes, you are. Welcome into it. One more segment. Great to have you along for the ride today, no matter where you may be. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, hanging out with us. We appreciate that. By the way, just a little note for you. Liz Harrington, spokesperson for the Republican National Committee, she'll be joining us tomorrow to recap the entire RNC that's been going on this week. So look forward to chatting with her tomorrow, along with another guest as well. Looking forward to chatting with them. It's been really sucky. We usually only do one guest, but we've had to do multiple this week. There's been some big issues. Today, Eric Rittmeyer, the man himself, the legend, the living legend, Mr. Mark Walters of Armed American Radio, hanging out with us here for a little bit longer. Mark, it's so good to have you on the show. It's been fun. I go on your show almost once a week now, so we got to start doing the same thing here. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm game with that. I'm down.
Yeah, sure. Make this happen. All right, I like it. Yeah. So there's a couple things we got to get to in the few minutes that we have. Number one, there's a meme, as you mentioned. I should refrain on poking the bear on social media, and I did that yesterday. And let me tell you, I don't think I've ever received more hate than I got yesterday from many individuals, and it bothered me. So let me tell you the meme and see if I respond to this inappropriately or not. Here's what the meme had to say. Telling black men to respect cops so they don't get killed is like telling women to dress appropriately so they don't get raped. Your thoughts?
Yeah. And what'd you do? Retweet that or something?
No. So I responded, and I focused on the woman's side of that, and I said, well, if you don't dangle the apple in front of the horse isn't going to get hungry and want to eat the apple. Sort of thing. So not to try and say that that's all that rape would be, but it would minimize the urge and impulses that guys would have by being attracted to someone if you're trying to draw that type of attention if you're wearing risque and provocative things in public. And then, of course, you should see the amount of hate messages I got from females saying that I endorse rape, I support rapists, and that somehow I think that it's all women's fault that they get raped or assaulted or attacked in society, which is just not true. But I was just trying to say maybe you shouldn't try to openly go out of your way to draw that attention to yourself in that sense. But either the black men respecting cops so they don't get killed or the women dressing appropriately so they don't get raped, I have a hard time trying to put the correlation of the two together. But to me, I couldn't help but just respond to something like that.
Let me give you my advice for whatever this is worth. Okay, and this is where we have to get back to as a country. And I don't know that we can. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel right now. Not when you have idiots like LeBron James with these stupid quotes and these, broad brushing, blaming, anybody that these people are fueling the flames in this country. It's causing a tremendous division. It's going to lead to an outbreak of violence unlike anything we've seen in this country since the 1860s if these people aren't careful, because they're already at war with us.
Right.
But here's the advice. Okay. When did it become bad advice to teach your children to respect law enforcement and to not break the law? And that if you are asked to do something by a police officer, to comply with the police officer. You can handle what may be happening outside of that incident after the fact, okay? And in every single case where we've had an incident like this, you've got somebody who was not complying with police. George Floyd was. Now, let me make this very clear. George Floyd was handcuffed, and that should have been the end of it. He should have been placed in the back of that squad car long before he was.
Right.
Okay? No question about that. But when you're talking about the individual in downtown Atlanta, Georgia, this guy was fighting with the cops, taken off, stole a taser, fired at him. That's not the way to respect cops and not get shot at. Okay? It's not bad advice to say, you know what? Don't break the law. That's good advice. My parents taught me when I was a kid. I had healthy respect and fear for law enforcement. To this day, if lights go on behind me, it's that respect and fear. And I grew up in the 70s, all right? I'm 58 years old. I remember watching the original Scared Straight. Okay? I remember it petrified me. I wanted nothing to do with prison. That wasn't my lifestyle.
Sure.
Okay? So you try not to break the law so you don't have to go. Most normal people have a healthy respect and fear of the judicial system and don't want to go through it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you don't want to run in with cops, don't break the law.
What a crazy
pretty
concept.
Simple advice.
Crazy concept.
I know, it's a crazy concept, right?
Yeah.
Now, that's not saying all cops are going to treat you the right way. They're probably not. Not all. There's bad apples in everybody.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you want to avoid the bad apples, don't break the law.
Joe Biden, what do you have to say about that?
Come on, man.
I love it. Mark Walters, the man himself.
Burn them down, Biden.
Run them down, Biden. You can always listen to Mark Walters' daily show, the Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, his Sunday monster broadcast all over the country on hundreds of radio stations. Mark, we always appreciate the time, my friend. We got to get you back on again real soon.
You betcha, man. Anytime. Have a great day.
Always a good time. Until then, this is The Voice of Reason. It's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. The Voice of Reason back at it tomorrow to wrap up your week. Make sure to stay right here, everybody. Have a great evening. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to